at nanonood pa rin po kayo ng PTV Special Forum ukol sa Zamboanga Crime. Balikan lang natin ang usapin tungkol kay Chairman Miswari para kay Professor Salaudin. Sir, nabanggit nyo nga po na napaka-mild-mannered, napaka-peace-loving po ni Chairman Miswari. Subalit naiipit siya sa tensyon. Pero ang naging issue naman po ng office ng OPAP ni Secretary Ging Deles, ang ating peace advisor, sabi niya, ang mga hinihiling po ni Chairman Miswari ay wala naman po doon sa Tripoli Agreement na nakasaad at nabigyan na po ang si Chairman Miswari ng pagkakataon para sumali po as in the tripartite agreement in attaining peace or this Bangsamoro framework. And she even cited instances na kung saan they waited for 6 hours for Chairman Miswari to participate, etc. etc. Sir, ito po bang mga requests ni Chairman Miswari ng transitional government, etc. etc. ay nandun pa rin po ba sa framework ng kapayapaan na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Mindanao?
Thank you. Yung transition mechanism of the peace agreement actually was already in place in the guise of the SPCPD. Yun na yun eh. That was the transition mechanism actually. Pero ang nangyari, napabayaan lang kasi yung transition mechanism, napabayaan until such time when Brother Noor met an encounter with loopholes against the law. There was a case filed against him of corruption, and succeedingly, another filed against him was rebellion when he waged a war in Sulu until he finally fled the country. So, nagkaroon ng hiatus in between the implementation of the Tripoli Agreement hanggang na-isolate siya. Kaya, para sa kanya, hindi nabuo yung agreement dahil nakalayo siya sa mechanism eh. So kaya parang sinisingil niya ulit yun eh. So for the government, the Tripoli Agreement has already been perfected.
Yes, sir.
But for Brother Miswari, hindi pa tapos. Ganon ang nangyari. It was situational ang pangyayari eh. So they have to sit down on the table again and trace out the truth or the reality of what really happened. Kasi ang nakikita ko, it is left in the dark ang agreement eh. Doon kay Brother Noor Miswari, ganito ang interpretation. Dito sa government, ganito naman.
Subalit sir, nabanggit nga po ni Secretary Deles na binuksan po nila ang para makapagpasok po sa usapin ulit si Chairman Miswari. And sabi nga nila, si Chairman Miswari at ang kanyang grupo po refused to nominate people in the Bangsamoro Framework Agreement for the transitional government. Ano po itong naging hinaing ni Chairman Miswari kung bakit hindi po siya pumasok?
As far as I know, Brother Noor Miswari has a different principle. In what way? As an experience, being our leader from that time, until now he's still the leader of the Moro people. Only, it depends upon the people who they are. Kasi watak-watak na ang situation eh. Now, why did he not acceded to the creation of the Executive Council? Because he was only reserved a seat as Chairman Emeritus, and that is against his principle. Brother Noor Miswari has a unique principle than other. Ngayon, nung tumakbo na naman sa ibang bagay tungkol doon sa offer sa kanya from the OPAP, the same thing. Ayaw niya ng ganun.
Hindi po ba, in simple terms, Professor, hindi po ba ito, politika lang talaga? Politika between Miswari and the leadership of the MILF?
Tama.
Politika between Miswari and SEMA?
Well, anything that hinders or obstruct an agreement or a condition between men is always called political. Anything that distracts an agreement or a situation, it's always called political. Because politic means is the contention between two or more persons. But if we adopt the principle of humanity, we will never contradict each other. We will always go together in our idea.
Okay, Gio.
Maraming salamat. Tumawag naman tayo ng ating mga kasamang mga estudyante mula sa University of Caloocan. Let's start with Miles Montemor. Miles?
Magandang gabi po. Ang tanong ko po ay para po sa PNP. Sir, ano na po ba ang plano ng gobyerno sa mga sibilyan na naapektuhan ng gulo sa Zamboanga?
Okay, salamat sa tanong mo. Tulad ng sabi namin kanina, ang priority is to evacuate them and secure them na mapayapa silang mailigtas.
Thank you po.
Sir, just to follow up on that, in-announce po kanina na, di ba dahil nga po canceled ang mga flights from Zamboanga, pumayag na po ang ating Air Force na i-lift ang mga tao mula sa Zamboanga to Gensan at Gensan papunta po ng Manila dahil magkakaroon na po ng isang malaking ng Hajj po para sa mga Muslim. Can you elaborate, sir, on the details with regard to this?
Well, as far as I have been informed, they will have missionary. They will have missionary flights to those places as a public service for those who need to be there. Unfortunately, my partner is not here to answer that, but that is as far as I can say.
Maraming salamat, sir. Balik ko muna sa inyo, Mark at Cathy. Marami pa tayong tanong.
Gusto ko itanong kay Sir, Sir, ang kwento is na-contain na. They're just in 5 barangays. The people there are not even considered hostages. And yet, on the other hand, walang pinapayagang maglayag na barko, walang pinapayagang mga flights na lumipad.
Tsaka walang nagbubukas
At
na mga
walang
businesses.
nagbubukas na. So ano po ba talaga ang totoong sitwasyon sa Zamboanga?
Yes, I think that is a timely question. First of all, we have to indicate what have we done so far. Una-una sa lahat, the Crisis Management Committee was established with Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco as the chair. And to her, we defer and we submit all pronouncements, all official notices, and guidance and direction. That is why all information are coursed through her and all publication are also coursed through her. Secondly, updates reaching the PNP National Headquarters particularly from the Police Regional Office 9 indicate indeed that government security forces have effectively contained the situation in 5 barangays, that's Rio Hondo, Santa Barbara, Santa Catalina, Talon-Talon, and Merquido. Only 5 of the 98 barangays of Zamboanga City are affected by the ongoing standoff. So the immediate concern is to prevent an escalation of hostilities and prevent the situation from spilling over to the other areas of Zamboanga Peninsula. So that siguro, Attorney Mark answers the question kung bakit kailangan natin isagawa itong mga ganitong klaseng security operations para hindi na to lumala o lumubha pa.
Just to follow up, Colonel Sindak,
Yes, ma'am.
sa pre-attack po na mention, nag-declare po si Nur Miswari ng kanyang pagtatatag nitong Independent Bangsamoro Republic.
Yes.
So did the PNP or the Army know that this attack was going to happen, and were you prepared for this?
Yes, there were some intelligence reports, but confirmation and validation is another thing. And these things have been ongoing even, I think, the weeks prior to that, and they have been on close watch by both the PNP and the AFP.
Merong nabanggit during a press con na there was a maritime interdiction, Colonel. Meaning, ibig sabihin na intercept yung mga papasok. Merong sinabing ang nabantayan itong movements ng MNLF. Ang tanong, bakit na-control at napasok pa rin nila yung 5 barangay kung merong maritime interdiction, kung nakapag-deploy tayo sa tamang panahon?
Totoo po yun. There was some enable or maritime interdiction, but these forces were not enough at that time to stop the different routes or plan of movement of the Miswari Breakaway Group.
Gusto kong balikan yung sinabi ni Professor kanina, yung sentimiento ni Nur Miswari. He was not consulted with the crafting of the framework. It was not inclusive. Gusto kong tanungin si Sultan, do you agree with this? Do you think that the Moro people were consulted by the government? Kasi sinasabi ng gobyerno, nakonsulta naman ang ating mga kababayang Muslim sa pag-craft nitong Bangsamoro framework.
Kati, regarding the Bangsamoro framework, for my personal analysis, the government already consulted in every sector in Mindanao, lahat, yun ang pagkakalam ko, pumunta sila sa bawat province, lahat ng nakonsulta sila sa lahat ng mga tribu sa Mindanao, particularly our group, tribal group.
Yes, Mira, bilang thinker, bilang isang political science major at young Moro professional, nabanggit mo, nabigyan na siya ng pagkakataon. Nabanggit mo, he already served. SPCPD, nabanggit ni Sir yung transitional mechanism. He had all the funds to make it work. What could we say to Ms. Wari now to persuade him to give the Bangsamoro entity a chance and to step aside?
Okay. Isang napaka-challenging na tanong, ano? Anyways, kung nakikinig ka man ngayon, Chairman Noor, sana ay pakinggan nyo ang panawagan namin, no, na mga kabataang Moro, no. We honor your struggle, no. This has been like century old of honoring the Bangsamoro struggle, and we do also put significance to the importance of honoring the struggle for liberation with a legitimate cause. But then, kung talaga pong para ito sa Bangsamoro, we are reaching to your heart, you know. We appeal na the real way to peace is peace. So we have to dialogue. We have to involve not only the MNLF, but intindihan po namin, no, na andon yung grievances. But kung ganito pong marami din pong isipin din po natin yung nasasaktang mga civilians, yung mga nahihirapan na nasa ground, yun din po yung gusto naming iparating na mapag-usapan po sana natin ito, no? And violence must be, you know, the call for peace must be stronger sana than the call for violence. Maraming salamat po.
Si Professor, gusto kong tanungin, call for peace daw. There is supposedly a review of the peace agreement. Sa tingin niyo po ba, with this move, Ms. Wari, do you think he's still willing to sit down and negotiate and review the agreement?
Unless, primordially, this is the chance or the representation is given to himself alone, to head in reviewing. If not, I don't think so he will accept that.
Ibig sabihin, sir, you're saying na ang agreement with the MNLF ay pwedeng ang kausap ay yung Executive Council headed by or with Mr. former Cotabato Mayor Sema ang kasama doon. Yun po ba ang posibilidad na matutuloy pa rin yung review side by side the Bangsamoro Framework Agreement negotiation at talagang hindi na magiging kasama doon si Ginoong Miswari?
Yan ang hindi mangyari. Dahil from the start, even the Libyan government has taken its effort so hard to unify the MNLF leadership from the start up to now. Because the OIC itself, to include the Libyan government in the person of late Gaddafi, who is represented by Ambassador Salem Adem in the Philippines, has exerted harder to press to the MNLF leadership to unite. At many instances that happened, but after all, this unification of leadership never was substantiated.
Alam mo
until
na,
now.
Alam niyo mga kaibigan na interview ni Mark, itong tagapagsalita po ng Miswari Group, si Attorney Fontanilla. And may mga sinabi siyang mga conditions para itigin nila itong nangyayari sa Zamboanga. Pakikwento nga, Mark.
Oo, ang gusto nila mangyari, Professor, ay magkaroon ng international third party na para mag-imbestiga daw po at mag-mediate dito sa nagaganap.
Particularly the OIC, ang gusto niya. No?
OIC represented by the Ambassador of Indonesia to the Philippines. Ano po ang tingin niyo dito?
Well, that already happened before, long time, when the Tripoli Agreement was in place. The negotiation was mediated by the OIC, no less than the OIC that mediated this negotiation between the government and the MNLF. And I don't know until now if what will the OIC again say for the second time around. See?
And aside from that, may mga iba pa daw na demands and the government is willing to sit down.
Natanggap na yung demands.
Oo. Tanungin nga natin kay Colonel R.T. Sindak, ano po ba yung iba pang mga demands aside from yung nabanggit na namin?
Well, I'm sorry, but I am not in a position to answer that question. Yes.
Okay, pero ang isa pa rin na lumabas dun sa interview mo, Mark, kay Attorney Fontanilla, ang sinabi niya, hindi naman daw talaga sila sumalakay. Ito daw ay isang peace march.
Oo. Mahal na mahal lang talaga nila yung baril nila tayo mabitawan.
Oo. Colonel Sindak, ito po bang peace march na ito ay talagang, meron po ba talagang peace march?
As far as the law enforcement side is concerned, it has no indication of a peace march.
Colonel, nabanggit sa press conference kanina, napakinggan ko po sa radyo, na isa sa demands at sinagot ito ng commander on the ground na umalis yung ating mga kapulisan at yung ating army doon sa lugar. Gagawin po ba ng Philippine National Police ito at ng AFP?
As on the part of the law enforcement and security forces, we will stand down and hold our ground. So I don't see an immediate withdrawal of the peacekeeping forces there.
So tila may stalemate itong nangyayari. Ano kaya ang nakikita namang solusyon ng ating mga pinunong Muslim? Tanungin po natin si Sultan, what do you think is the best solution? Kasi sinasabi po ng puwersa, hindi sila mag-withdraw unless i-withdraw yung government forces. Ang sabi naman po ng government forces, they will not withdraw. What do you think should happen?
Yung microphone.
Sir,
Sultan.
your
Your microphone,
mic.
Sultan.
That's a good question, no? Ano ba ang solusyon, no? Alam ninyo ang presidente natin, no? Lalo na itong nag-lead ng crisis committee, no? So lahat ng paraan ginagawa nila para ma-resolve ito, no? The Secretary Marwas and Dilis and our National Deputy, no? And also our Honorable Mayor in Zamboanga, no? Lahat ginagawa nila alang-alang sa kapayapaan, no? The problem now is in the side, this is my personal,
Yes.
in the side of the armed forces and the PNP, siyempre, hindi sila pwede mag-alis dyan, no? Ang pwede makaano dyan ng sino ang ating presidente, no? Okay. Ang nakikita ko dito na problema dito, Attorney Mac, no? We cannot contact the right person from the MNLF. We cannot contact Normisuari. O sino bang right person? So, nakakaroon ito ng collateral damage sa mga civilian. Kung patagalin ito, so, ginagawa nila ang lahat, no? By all means, alang-alang to save the life of the people. Napakaraming tao dyan.
Colonel Sindak, nabanggit ni Sultan, we cannot contact the right person. Itong nababanggit sa media na namuno nitong pag-atake sa Zamboanga, ito po ba ay tao, konfirmadong tao ni Normisuari na nakikinig sa kanya? O he's someone who thinks for himself and decides for himself?
Well, I cannot answer that categorically, but we are, as stated by the Honorable Secretary of the DILG, they are exhausting all means to contact them and contact the right persons, address the right connections to restore peace in Zamboanga.
So as of now, sir, talagang hindi pa rin nakakausap si Miss Wari mismo?
To the best of my knowledge po, wala pang direct contact kay Normisuari.
Professor Ilcab, gaano karami pa po ang tauhan ni Ginoong Miswari? Gaano karami pa rin yung kanyang armed followers? At gaano ka-loyal pa rin po sa kanya itong mga ito, despite itong mga factions na nabuo?
Ito ngayon?
Yes.
I think accordingly, they are about, kasi majority from Basilan came down to Zamboanga. Around 300 something armed group. Ang dami nila. Yun nasa Zamboanga na ngayon. And accordingly, Ustad Haber Malik is already in Zamboanga. And that is what I cannot confirm, but we heard from many sources na he is already in Zamboanga. Yan ang fighting force niya doon sa Hulo.
Okay.
Alright. Samantala po ay tumungo tayo sa ating kasamang si Gio Tingson para sa iba pang mga katanungan mula sa ating studio audience.
Professor Ilcab, dagdag ko lang po. ano pa po, I'll backtrack a bit, sir. Ano pa po ba ang mga demands ni Chairman Miswari para ukol sa mga bagay na hindi na-implement sa Tripoli Agreement? At given, sir, sa konteksto na nagkaroon na nga po ng SPCPD, nabigyan na po ng pagkakataon na maging ARMM Governor si Chairman Miswari, si Parok Husin, si Ginoong Isnaji, sila po yung mga miyembro ng MNLF. Ano po yung mga kahilingan pa or mga bagay na hindi pa po natutupad sa Tripoli Agreement?
Talking of the Tripoli Agreement again, there is a misconception between both negotiating party, between the MNLF and the government side. For the government, they have placed the Tripoli Agreement in place already. For Miswari, it's not being completed. Ganon ang nangyari eh. There are two versions. Kaya hindi natin mapilit doon kay Miswari na tapos na, naibigay ko na, nabayaran na kita lahat, kompleto na. We cannot say that to Brother Miswari. Para sa kanya, it is not perfected, it is not completed, ganon.
Sir, ano po yung hindi na kompleto? Para at least alam ng tao na, ito yung dapat naming tignan. Ano po itong mga sinasabi ni Chairman Miswari na hindi na kompleto?
Yung sinasabing hindi na kompleto, yung bang kabuuan ng Tripoli Agreement up to the last minute of governance ng ARM, which redound to ARM already. Kasi yun na ang ending ng Tripoli Agreement lumabas na ARM. Na to Miswari, that is not a satisfactory ending of the Tripoli Agreement. Kasi,
Even to be the leader,
yes,
even if he got to lead the Moro people that time.
Sir, naging ARM governor po siya. The MNLF has led the ARMM
He
for
was
around
not
a decade.
satisfied?
yes, ganito yun, Kati. He was not satisfied on the end of the Tripoli Agreement dahil yung ARM is only a composition of 4 provinces. But what is 5 provinces, I mean, what is being stipulated in the Tripoli Agreement was 13 provinces and 5 cities, I think.
Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, na-alter yun, yung 13 provinces and 5 cities, na-alter yun because of the last paragraph in the Tripoli Agreement that says, all provisions hereon shall be subjected to the constitutional processes. That's why, in the process of implementation, yung 13 and 5 cities, naging 5 provinces na lang. Doon naghumantong ang dissatisfaction ni Professor Miswari about of the ARM. Kaya sabi ko, there are 2 versions that collide with each other. The version of the government and the version of Brother Noor does not go along with the end of the Tripoli Agreement.
Sir,
Kaya nagkaganyan.
Sir, just the last follow-up bago ko tawagan si Ave. Sabi po ng 2 times po nagkaroon ng plebisito sa Zamboanga City. At sabi na sa 2 plebisitong ito, ayaw namin maging bahagi ng ARMM. Bakit sa ARMM pa rin po pumunta si Chairman Miswari?
Sa Zamboanga.
Sa Zamboanga. Sa Zamboanga. Yes, sir. 2 beses na pong... Yes, sir.
Alam mo, if you only have been residing in Zamboanga, mababasa mo ang question, ang answer na bakit doon pa rin sa Zamboanga pumunta si Miswari. Just like Singapore, it is a crossroad of commerce. Singapore is a crossroad of commerce. Zamboanga is also a crossroad of commerce, of politics, and all the way what the people of Region 9 has. The crossroad of hard killers. Pag nagkagalit sa basilan, doon papatayin sa Zamboanga yan. Kasi defenseless siya doon. Sa Holo, ganun din. So, Zamboanga is a very important place for the people of Mindanao in Region 9.
Western Mindanao.
Western Mindanao, I mean.
Maraming salamat, sir. Tawagin naman natin si Avi Rose Argueza.
Good evening po. Yung tanong ko po para kay Ma'am Yasmira Moner. Bilang kinatawan po ng Young Moro Islamic Group, paano nyo po ipinapaunawa sa mga kabataang Muslim ngayon yung nangyayari sa Mindanao, lalo na sa Zamboanga?
we just want to, Islamic, medyo, naman siya, masyadong, we are actually comprising of, our membership is not just very constrained to the Islamic na, medyo nababra na siya agad as But anyways, from the Young More Professionals Network, no, maraming salamat sa tanong na yan. We are actually do have our local chapters. Meron sa Western Mindanao ngayon. Merong YMPN Western Mindanao at nandun po talaga sila doing their humanitarian relief operations. Dito naman po sa YMPN National Chapter, we are issuing statements calling for sobriety, patience, understanding. We're calling for dialogue. In fact, this coming October, magkakaroon po ng a sort of Bangsamoro caravan type wherein we wanted to reach out more especially to our non-Moro brothers and sisters, no, especially students, na magkaroon ng pagkakaisa, a cultural understanding between the Muslims and non-Muslims.
Ang
Maraming
lungkot, Cathy, na sa nangyayari ngayon sa Zamboanga ay hindi lamang sa mga Kristiyano, hindi pati sa ating mga kababayang Moro. Kaya ano ang dapat mangyari?
Where do we go from here? Gaano nga ba katagal magtatagal itong tensyon sa Zamboanga? Lahat po yan tatalakayin sa pagbabalik na ating special forum.